stories fade with time, buried beneath silence, lost in forgotten files, or dismissed as mysteries that will never be solved. But behind every case is a voice that was never heard, a truth still waiting in the dark. This channel is dedicated to the victims, the unanswered questions, and the stories that refuse to disappear. Because somewhere, someone still knows what happened. Welcome to Cries Unheard in the Darkness. On December 26, 1996, at 5:52 a.m., the silence of Boulder, Colorado, was broken by a call that would redefine American true crime. Patsy Ramsey reported her daughter missing, but the kidnapper hadn't taken the child into the night without leaving a trace. They had left a 3-page manuscript. This wasn't a standard ransom note. It was unusually long, written with a pen and notepad from inside the Ramsey home. FBI profilers would later call it staged, noting that the author used exclamation marks and cinematic dialogue that mirrored lines from movies. It demanded $118,000, a sum so specific it matched John Ramsey's Christmas bonus, and warned that if John even talked to a stray dog, JonBenét would be beheaded. Most chillingly, the note was signed SBTC, a cryptic acronym that has never been definitively solved. Was it a real organization, or a fabrication intended to point suspicion away from the home? The initial police response was riddled with errors. Only JonBenét's bedroom was cordoned off. For hours, friends, family, and the family minister moved through the house, cleaning kitchen surfaces and potentially destroying hair and fiber evidence. At 1 p.m., 7 hours after the first 911 call, Detective Linda Arndt asked John Ramsey and a family friend, Fleet White, to search the house. They headed to the basement. John opened a door secured by a wooden latch, a door an officer had seen earlier but failed to open because it was locked from the outside. In that small, windowless wine cellar, John found his daughter. She lay under a white blanket, silver tape across her mouth, her wrists tied with nylon cord. In a state of shock, John picked up the body and rushed it upstairs. In those few seconds, the crime scene was irrevocably contaminated. The critical forensic link between the body and the room was severed. The autopsy told 2 different stories. On the surface, JonBenét died of asphyxia by strangulation, but she had also suffered a massive 8.5-inch craniocerebral trauma, a skull fracture caused by a blow so powerful it likely rendered her unconscious immediately. The tools of her death were found inside the home. The garrote used to strangle her was made from nylon cord and the broken handle of a paintbrush. The bristle end of that same brush was found in a tub of Patsy's art supplies. Then there was the mystery of the pineapple. Pathologists found undigested fruit in her system, consumed shortly before her death. In the kitchen, police found a bowl of pineapple with a spoon. Patsy's fingerprints were on the bowl, and her brother Burke's were on the glass. Yet the parents insisted they had put the children to bed and never served the snack. The pineapple suggested a moment of interaction that the parents either forgot or chose to hide. The investigation soon became a battlefield between 2 philosophies. The Boulder Police Department, led by investigator Steve Thomas, leaned toward the family theory. They pointed to the lack of footprints in the snow and the statistical 12-to-1 probability that a family member is involved in a child's murder. The district attorney's office, however, championed the intruder theory. They brought in legendary homicide detective Lou Smith, who highlighted a broken basement window and an unidentified boot mark. But Smith's theory faced a sticky obstacle, an intact, undisturbed cobweb in the corner of that window, suggesting no one had climbed through it that night. The friction grew so toxic that investigators were warned to fall in line with their department's theory or risk their careers. This animosity led to the resignation of both Smith and Thomas, leaving the case in a state of professional paralysis. In 1999, a grand jury saw enough to act. They voted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey on 2 counts of child abuse resulting in death, alleging they knowingly and recklessly placed their child in danger. But District Attorney Alex Hunter refused to sign the indictment, claiming the evidence could not meet the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. This secret vote would not be revealed to the public for 14 years. In 2003, a new hope emerged. Advanced testing identified touch DNA from an unknown male on JonBenét's underwear and leggings. In 2008, District Attorney Mary Lacey officially cleared the Ramsey family based on this genetic fingerprint. But the ghost remained unidentified. Critics, including former police chief Mark Beckner, argued that clearing a family based on trace DNA was absurd, noting that skin cells can easily transfer inside a house where hundreds of people had been. Forensic experts pointed out that the DNA could have come from a factory worker who packaged the clothing rather than from a killer. The case has seen 1,600 persons of interest and one high-profile false confession. In 2006, John Mark Carr claimed he accidentally killed JonBenét after drugging her. But the autopsy found no drugs in her system, and Carr's DNA was a dead end. Today, the case remains an open homicide. Burke Ramsey, now an adult, has settled massive defamation lawsuits against those who publicly accused him. Patsy Ramsey passed away in 2006 and is buried beside her daughter in Georgia. Was it an intruder who entered through an unlocked door? Or a domestic accident covered up by a frantic ransom note? With 38 registered sex offenders in the immediate area and over 100 local burglaries that year, the shadows remain long. Nearly 30 years later, the only thing certain is the silence of the girl in the white blanket. She deserves peace after all this time. If you have any information regarding the case of JonBenét Ramsey, please contact the Boulder Police Department. Thanks for listening to Cries Unheard in the Darkness. If this story stayed with you, you're not alone. Subscribe, because the darkness always has more to say. Until next time, listen carefully.